Now, a lot of you might know that Media Matters is a group that is making sure that the conservative media is kept in check. The basic thing that they've done for a long time, which I love, is they just quote the conservative media, particularly Fox News. And that enrages Fox News. They're like, how dare you quote us over and over again? Now, oftentimes Fox News will do the usual BS criticism of, oh, they took us out of context. And then Media Matters will put the whole segment up and say, here's the context. And it'll look just as bad. And they'll be like, God damn it, I told you to stop quoting us. Well, Fox News might have their way, because Media Matters believes that they've kicked Fox News' ass so much and so hard that the war is pretty much over. That's awesome. Now, back in 2011, the founder of Media Matters, David Brock, had declared an all-out, quote, war on Fox. And he had said,
our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. Number one.
Number one. And apparently they did. Now, Media Matters Executive Vice President Angelo Carusone has come out and said, quote, the war on Fox is over. And he continues by saying, and it's not just that it's over, but it was very successful. To a large extent, we won. Damn. Now, look, there are very good points to be made that is exactly what happened. Number one, Glenn Beck was absolutely driven off of Fox News. And even Roger Ailes, who runs Fox News, said they needed a, quote, course correction. Damn. Now, one of the reasons Beck left is not because the guys running Fox News are not just as big a lunatics as Glenn Beck. It's because his advertisers were driven away, because he'd say terrible things like, oh, President Obama's racist against white people. And that actually was among the saner things he said. He said absolutely wrong and outrageous, but he kept going further and further out, making that comment look tame by comparison, until all the advertisers said no mas. It turns out Media Matters is right. They were not quoted out of context. That was in context. And yes, they say terrible things on Fox News all the time. That's point number one. Point number two, and by the way, Sean Hannity's not on 9 o'clock anymore either, which is the second most important spot for Fox News. They brought in Megyn Kelly for a softer touch. So Fox News is not going as hard right-wing as they used to. I know it's, I mean, it's damning with faint praise, right? But that was point number one. But more importantly, they said, look, when Media Matters got into the mix, and very importantly, the guy who started all this actually was not with Media Matters. It was Robert Greenwald, who did the documentary back in 2004 called Outfoxed. When they both started on this trek, you have to remember, because I was there at the time. I was in the media. I was doing a radio show. And when you told people Fox News was conservative, they say, oh, no. When you told them it was right, it was, no. Look, they don't cover news in the exact same way CNN does, but CNN is the liberals. And they actually, people, I know it seems impossible to believe, but back then people would, with a straight face, say they're fair and balanced. Now, eventually it became impossible to say that because of the overwhelming weight of the evidence, but somebody had to collect that evidence. Now, when you go to Robert Greenwald and you ask him about this, and he said, look, when we started the film, liberals and progressives and Democrats were saying, oh, Fox is not really so bad, because it's really just a couple of commentators. So he says, so now we've come along in a positive way in terms of people realizing that they are a channel dedicated to one point of view. And it's true. So not only do liberals and Democrats recognize it, but almost everybody in the country recognizes it. So that is in some sense mission accomplished, and the war is over, at least in that aspect of it. Now you still got to keep an eye on them. They're still up to no good and still trying to paint Jesus and Santa and the Easter Bunny white and all the fun things that they do over at Fox News. But there's nothing wrong with a conservative channel as long as everybody treats it as a conservative channel. The only part of the mission that is not accomplished, they didn't talk about it here, but I still see it, and I think it's still a very important part of what Fox News does, is they still drive the agenda on so many issues, right? Now, again, back in the bad old days, before MSNBC had any progressive voices on in the mid-2000s, when Fox News drove an agenda, MSNBC and CNN would flip over immediately, and the whole country would be talking about whatever issue that Fox News had made up that day, with a total right-wing framing. Now there's a little bit more balance, but still to this day, a lot of times Fox News will drive an issue and they will talk about something like Benghazi so long that CNN will say, well, I guess that's a Benghazi, goddammit, IRS scandal. Now later you find out that the IRS so-called scandal was actually done by a conservative, and he targeted not just conservative groups but also liberal groups. And it was just a filing error. But did Fox News let it go? No. Now, did the rest of the media come back and say, oh, we're so sorry for covering that made-up scandal? No, they never said that, right? So they're still important because the one group that is still motivated to pretend that Fox News is a real, quote-unquote, news organization is the rest of the news. Why? Because in cable TV, about a third of the people once worked at Fox News. They're not going to say they worked at a propaganda outfit. A third of the people are looking forward to working at Fox News. So look at Howard Kurtz, worked on CNN. Now he works at Fox News. Bill Hemmer used to work on CNN. Now works on Fox News. You think that those guys are going to say, oh, Fox News is total crap? No, they're looking forward to a payday from Fox News one day. They're not going to say that. It's not in their personal interest to say that. So they're the last vestige. If you ask conservatives today, is Fox News conservative? They say, of course it is. Liberals, of course. Moderates, of course Fox News is conservative. The only people in the country that still deny it are the people that work in cable news. And by the way, the other third, they have friends at Fox News. And it's understandable. They don't want to say that their producer friend, their reporter friend, their editor friend at Fox News is a sellout that works for a Republican propaganda machine. It's personal for them. So they have to retain that fiction at all costs. But overall, Media Matters and Robert Greenwald are right that at least for the great majority of the American people, they have defeated the idea that Fox News is some sort of fair and balanced central news that does mainstream reporting. That is just nonsense. It's conservative propaganda, and almost the entire country recognizes it as such. By the way, one fun thing you can look forward to, for the 10th year anniversary of Odd Fox, Brave New Films is going to release a new movie about Fox. And that'll be the bookends for that terrible decade where people took Fox News seriously.